Yo, 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 this is Dorky Diggity Dame, and today we review Halloween. Yo, it's been 40 years. Welcome back, guys. We are talking about Halloween, and it is the 40-year anniversary of this film. This is 40 years. This is crazy, right? So you're gonna jump in there. If you're a fan, you're really gonna love it, especially if you're like one of the Carpenter fans and the Halloween fans. There's a lot of fan service going on. Fan. Yeah, anyway, lots of good stuff. It's a slasher film, but you know what they did here? They wrote a story that is actually entertaining. It's not like the best story in the world, but it's a story nonetheless, which is pretty much devoid in these type of films, like these slasher films, the horror films, the horror genre. It's really hard to find a really good story, especially lately. And so they took some time to write in some backstory, to give you a little bit of history, to give you some kind of something that you could sink your teeth into, so that when something happens in the movie, maybe you feel something, maybe you've already been engaged with a particular character. So yeah, that is in the film, and it works pretty good. I mean, in the end, it is a horror film, it's a slasher film. I mean, how deep really can you get? It's probably about as deep as you can put the knife in, right? I guess. That really wasn't funny. It's cool. Moving on. So now all this history that they gave you, it really is up to you whether it works or not, because in the end, that's really what matters. But to me, it was okay. It didn't take away from the film, and it was a nice touch. Now the other thing is, if you've seen enough of these movies, you kind of know who's gonna die when they die. You can tell just by the way their characters are. Some of them are a little bumbling, some of them are just, you know, you can just tell. You're just like, okay, that one's gonna die, that one's gonna die, you're next. And you, right? But what was funny is there was no token deaths in this movie. There just wasn't. And, you know, I don't know. That doesn't really matter. It's not really like a race thing, but it didn't happen. Now, what they did really well, though, is they took stereotypes from previous films, right, and they kind of turned them on their head. So things that you were expecting to be the same as every other film really wasn't. They turned a lot of things around, and that really kind of brought in a nice fresh take, a fresh approach, and it was a breath of fresh air. Lots of fresh again. Fan, fresh, air. Okay, I know, it's fine. But look, that's what they did. Things that you would expect kind of didn't happen, and that is always a really good thing for me anyway when I see a movie. So the director comes in, David Gordon Green, and you have a new studio, Blumhouse, and before it was Dimension Films, and I think Dimension was kind of taking it on this downward trend of just really bad to worse. And so he comes in and he kind of breathes this new life into the movie, and you can tell. Also, in his movies, he usually has Danny McBride in them, and at least in the major ones, and you're kind of wondering, maybe was he around in this one? He wasn't, but he was a co-writer, so those of you that are fans of that little team up, fear not, it was still there. Now, one of the things that I really liked, one of their decisions, was that this wasn't really a remake. This was kind of like a continuation of the story with a little bit like recalibration put in there. Now, for these types of movies, remakes are usually horrible, so I'm kind of glad that they went in this direction, because it could have turned out bad, but it didn't, and it kept the integrity of the series and didn't, you know, try to cash grab just on the name. Now, you also see the return of Jamie Lee Curtis, which is also awesome. She's been in 5 films in the Halloween series. She was in Halloween, she was in Halloween 2, and then she was in H2O, which really isn't H2O, it's more H20, because it was in 1998 and that's the 20-year anniversary. But it kind of makes you wonder why they didn't call this one H40 or H40. Probably because it sounds stupid. Anyway, then she was in Halloween Resurrection, which I don't recommend even watching the trailer, because it's bad, real bad. Anyway, and then she's in this one that makes 5 movies, and Halloween was really her big break, and that really kind of established her as a scream queen. So she's back in this movie, and I think the fans are really going to love that. I don't know what they're doing with like the history of the movie. There's like some fuzzy things going on there. I don't know, some like family recalibration things. I'm not sure what they were trying to do there, because I distinctly remember one thing, and then I guess they're just trying to retcon it or something. So I'm not sure if that's part of that. I gotta look that up, and maybe that will be a separate video. Now, this film had a $10 million budget. They still managed to get Jamie Lee Curtis, and you have Judith Greer in there, and it turned out pretty well. I can't imagine that this movie isn't going to make a multiple of $10 million. I mean, $10 million, really. The series alone, even if the movie was bad, would already make that. So I think they're in great shape. Now, I would say that the film isn't really as gory as you would think. And that really could be a good thing for some people. That might be a bad thing for some fans of some really gory stuff, but it wasn't really that bad. It was gory, but it wasn't like crazy gory. I've seen worse in video games, so that might be a deterrent for some, but again, yeah, it's still a good movie. And to the peeps who brought their baby to the screening, like, what the frick is wrong with you, man? Like, we're hearing like cooing in the screening. There's like cooing and babies like crying and they're like shifting and giving the pacifier. Like, what you doing? What you doing? Like, are you trying to make another Mike Myers? What's wrong with you? Anyway, look. I say, if you're a fan of the series, get out there and watch it. If you're a fan of the genre, get out there and watch it. There really aren't too many movies like this that come out that put an effort to do something good and do the right fan service and have a good enough story to make it something that you want to go to or to give your money to go see in a theater. So definitely, yeah, I would check it out, especially if you're a fan of John Carpenter, Halloween, and all that good stuff. Get out there. Once again, this is Dorky Diggity Dave. You just watched a review for Halloween, and this is the 40th year anniversary of the series. That is insane. So yeah, I did like it. I think you should get out there and watch it. It is enjoyable. Take your girlfriend, take your partner, take whoever it is that you want to take that loves scary movies. I'd say take a screamer. It's good. It's got some good pops. Anyway, if you liked the video, and I hope that you did, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, share it with your mama. All that stuff helps me out. And remember, stay dorky, and I'll catch y'all on the flip.